Okay, so guys, welcome to this MSInspir Workshop session where we have with us Mr. Saad Aslam, who is, a Microsoft student partner from Pakistan. He is also a certified Microsoft innovative educator. He has founded Technology, which is a community for developers and tech enthusiasts in Pakistan. And I've been seeing his stuff for a while now, and I was very much excited on having a session with him. And the time is finally here. So he is with us, and today the topic which he will be focusing on, and the name of the topic which he is taking is beginner's guide to cybersecurity, or what you can say is Cybersecurity 101. I don't know, however you would like to pronounce it. Saad, I pass on the mic to you. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, okay, great, Ganesh, for having me and for this wonderful introduction. So, just an overview of this session. So, basically, this session looks at the fundamentals of cybersecurity, which includes the basic terminologies of security, the importance of data, the attributes of data, and we'll discuss about CIA triad, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So we'll also look at cybersecurity domains and different types of encryption techniques like asymmetric and symmetric. So basically, this is the overview of today's session. So today's session is about a beginner's guide to cybersecurity. Ganesh has given an introduction about myself. So I'm Saad Aslam. I'm Microsoft student partner from Pakistan, and it is a brief introduction about myself. So let's move on towards the session. So we'll discuss today's agenda. So we'll discuss what is cyber, what are the cybersecurity domains, and we'll discuss some of them, and what are the basic terms and terminologies of security. And we'll discuss some cybersecurity certifications that you can do after this session. And we'll discuss the network models and some basic overview about ethical hacking and pen testing, and what are the cyber threats that we'll face in the field of cybersecurity. And at the end of this session, we'll have a hand-on experience on Kali Linux so that you can guys get familiar to that Kali Linux. So let's move on.
Wow,
So
I
before
see
start,
Linux. I am excited.
okay, great. So before moving on, we have to some terms to understand. So the first thing we have to understand is what is the meaning of cyber. Before discussing about cybersecurity, we have to know about what is cyber and how big cyberspace is. When we'll discuss about cyber, then we'll move on to cyberspace and what is cybersecurity. So basically, these are the three terms that we discuss at the start. And what is the need of cybersecurity? So let's start. What is the meaning of cyber? So basically, cyber means anything that is digital. It can be your devices that are performing digital computation. It includes anything that is related to internet. It falls under the category of cyber. So when we talk about cybersecurity, so the thing is anything that we have that is connected to digital, so we have to apply security on that digital devices so that we can secure our data. So basically, what is cyberspace? As we had talked about cyber, that anything that is digital comes under the field of cyber. So after that, we have to understand what is cyberspace. Here's a question for you guys. If you know about cyberspace, you can mention in the comment section. So while cyberspace should not be confused with the internet, the term is used to represent identities or events that take place in communication process itself. For example, think of a website. It also exists in cyberspace. Suppose you have a website, you have hosted it on the internet, so it exists in cyberspace. whether you share a post on Facebook, on LinkedIn, anywhere on social website, upload your picture, or even send a message. So all these social interactions exist in cyberspace, and this cyberspace is expanding not in minutes, it is expanding in seconds. These all events are taking place not on the physical locations, as I mentioned earlier, that when you share your post, your picture, or even a message, so these all social interactions are taking in cyberspace. So I have discussed it. So while cyberspace should not be confused with the internet, the term is used to represent identities or events that take place in the communication process itself. For example, that I have discussed, that if you have a website, it also exists in cyberspace. Whether you share a post, upload a picture, or even send a message, all these social interactions exist in cyberspace. And these events are not taking place on their physical locations. Suppose when you share a post, it not take place on your mobile, but it exists on cyberspace. Here you can see a lot of digital devices that are connected with each other, and all these physical digital devices are exist in cyberspace. Here you can see a smartphone, tablet. So all these digital devices are interconnected with each other, and all their social interactions are taking place in cyberspace. So let's move forward. As we have discussed what is cyber, that anything that is digital is cyber, and what is cyberspace. So let's discuss what is cybersecurity. So the term cybersecurity is used to refer the security offered through online services to protect your online information. So the main thing we have to secure is your information, your online information, as we have a digital, you can say a digital profile. You have to protect your social profiles or social data, so we need cybersecurity. Cybersecurity refers to the technologies and processes designed to protect computers, networks, and data from unauthorized access, vulnerabilities, you can say, to avoid harm to your computer, and attacks delivered by the internet by cyber criminals. We'll discuss about different types of cyber criminals at the end of this session. What are the different hackers? And so cybersecurity is important for network data and application security. So that we have to discuss about how to secure our data from unauthorized access, and how can we protect it from vulnerabilities. So that comes the term cybersecurity. So why do we need cybersecurity? So cybersecurity is necessary because it helps secure our data from threats such as data theft or misuse. Here you can use, there are different sorts of data thefts, like ransomware attacks, where an attacker demands some sort of ransom from the, you can say, when he has attacked somebody, so he demands some sort of ransom, or meanwhile he encrypts his files, so you have to pay his ransom so that he will decrypt your file so that you can use, otherwise your files will be useless. So we need cybersecurity there to protect our data from data theft or misuse. It also safeguards your system from viruses. So as we discussed earlier in cyberspace, that our data or our cyberspace is increasing not in minutes but in seconds, and in huge amounts. So with an increasing amount of people getting connected to the internet, security threats that cause massive harm are increasing as well. As we can say that more people are connected digital in today's time, in COVID-19 situation, as all over the world has connected digitally. All the users are making their transactions, their social interactions through online, through digital platform. So most of the people are getting connected to the internet. So when the number of users increases, the number of threats also increases. So there we need the need of cybersecurity. So I have a question for you guys. Is just to make it interactive, so you can guys answer questions. what was the first known computer virus? If anyone of you know about it, you can answer in the comment section. So, Ganesh, do you know about this question?
I don't have any ideas about computer
Okay,
virus,
great,
but I
great.
have
So,
heard that there was one virus known as cicada or something, I don't know. And then
okay,
there was WannaCry thingy that happened a year or two earlier. I don't know. I
okay,
don't know much.
okay, great. So here's a question for the viewers. You can, if you know about this person, you can answer that in comment section. So we'll discuss the basic terms and terminologies. So we're discussing about cybersecurity. So we don't have to confuse some basic terminologies between them. So here we have a difference between security and information security. As so basically, security can be of any sort of physical security. It includes everything in security. As you can say, you apply some sort of, you can use logs, physical logs. So it all includes in security. But in case of information security, it is related to digital. Anything then we are going to apply it on digital security. So it is bounded to information. So there's a difference between security and information security. So, what is the difference between cybersecurity and IT security? You can say that both of them are connected to digital. So, what is the difference between them? So, basically, cybersecurity includes digital security, and IT security includes cybersecurity, and it also includes some of the physical security of systems, which cybersecurity doesn't include. Suppose in IT security, you can say you have some sorts of walkthrough gates that includes some sort of information technology, but in cybersecurity, it is restricted to digital information. So there is a difference between both of them. So you don't have to confuse between what is cybersecurity and what is IT security. So we'll discuss the domains of cybersecurity. There are about 10 domains of cybersecurity. We'll discuss some of them in the session. So the first of them is access controls and methodology, telecommunications and network security, business continuity planning and disaster recovery planning, security management practices. The fifth one is security architecture and models, law, investigation and ethics, application and systems development security. And the eighth is cryptography, an important one that we will discuss at the end of this session, computer operation security and physical security. So these are the 10 domains of cybersecurity. So we'll discuss the most important of them in the today's session. So we'll discuss it in a sequence. So as we have discussed about cybersecurity, so the the main purpose of cybersecurity is to you can say protect our information. So the main purpose of cybersecurity is to protect our data. How important is data is the main goal of cybersecurity comes where we have to secure our data. So we are discussing about the access control systems and methodology. So the main purpose of cybersecurity is to protect your data. We'll discuss what is the importance of data and why we need to apply security on it. So first we will get know about more data and what are the various access control systems and methodology. So there are 6 data quality dimensions of data. So the first one of them is consistency. The first is consistency, that your data remains consistent. The second one is completeness, that your data is in complete form. The third one is correctness, that the data they are given is in its correct form, it's not modified. And the fourth one is accessibility, that your data is accessible at the time when you need it. And timeliness, and the sixth one is accuracy. So these are the 6 core data quality dimensions that you can say the improvises the importance of data. So as we have discussed, what is the 6 data quality dimensions. Now we'll discuss the different states of data. So basically, the first one is data at rest. So data at rest refers to the data that has been stored on some sort of physical medium or backup medium. Like you can say the data stored on your laptops, your systems, your mobile phones. So the data that is stored in this form is in data at rest or storage. When we'll discuss data in motion, so you can say that it can be your emails or any sort of data that is transferred to FTP or SSH. So this data comes in the form of data in motion or transmission. And the third one is data in process. So the third phase of data is in process or use. You can say that your data that is being manipulated or being processed in some sort of you can say information, or so that data comes in the state of process. So these are the states of data. So we'll discuss the CIA triad. It's about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And the main purpose of CIA is to protect your data, is to apply policies so that your current data is in remains in is in correct form. So first we will discuss what is confidentiality. I hope Ganesh, is it clear till now?
Yes, I think you are going very well, and
Okay, great.
I like the way you
Uh,
are explaining
okay,
everything.
okay, great. So we'll discuss what is confidentiality. So basically, it ensures that computer-related assets are accessed only by authorized parties, sometimes called secrecy or privacy. It means that you have uh, accessible only to those persons that you have given authorization. Suppose here we call secrecy or privacy. Suppose in idles take example of a social profile that you have applied some sort of privacy. So the main purpose of privacy is that your data can be accessible to only those you can say your friends or your close friends. So apply some sort of privacy. So here comes the concept of confidentiality, that you have some applied some sort of confidentiality, that it is accessible to only authorized parties, and measures taken to prevent sensitive information from reaching the wrong person and making sure that an authorized person can access it. So the technique that is used to apply confidentiality is encryption. There are different techniques of encryption we'll discuss. So a basic example we are going to discuss is, suppose you have a word hello and it has 5 different alphabets. We can encryption technique, basic encryption techniques. Suppose you have a word hello and you replace the word hello with its neighbor alphabet, like H replaced with I. Suppose you have replaced H with I, E with M, L with A. So you have you can say replace the words with some other words. So your word becomes meaningless. So it any unauthorized party is trying to read the word hello, they can't read because it is meaningless. And the other end, you have to convey your message to the receiver. So the receiver also uses the same encryption technique. Suppose if you have replaced H with I during sending of the message, so the receiver will decrypt and will replace the word I with H. So your word again become meaningful. So it is a basic example of encryption. There are different things of encryption and strong encryption techniques.
Yes, I think I remember this. Is this the Caesar cipher technique?
Yes.
Replacing everything. Yeah? I remember
Yes.
this thing. I did this last semester.
Okay. Yes, great. There are different techniques. Here I've discussed a basic example. There are different techniques. We'll discuss about it in cryptography at the end of the session. That what are the different kind of encryption techniques we can use.
Okay.
So here you can
Nice.
see. Okay, great. Here you can see a plain text. Plain text can be any sort of message you want to convey to your receiver. and you apply an encryption technique. In the previous slide, we have used a basic example that we have replaced our word hello or word alphabet H with I. So we have applied encryption, some sort of encryption. When we apply encryption, the text, you can say the text is called ciphertext. The message is meaningless. Any unauthorized party cannot read it, and that ciphertext is then sent to the receiver, and the receiver again use some sort of decryption. The decryption is like that: I have replaced H with I, and at the receiver will replace I with H, so the meaningless information again becomes meaningful. So it is a process of encryption and decryption. So we'll discuss the different types of encryption. So basically there are two types of encryption. The first one is symmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption uses the same key to encrypt or decrypt data. As I have given you an example of hello, so I have used, you can say, symmetric encryption, that I have used the same technique at encryption time and also at decryption. Means I have replaced H with I, and then I replace I with H. So it uses the same key to encrypt or decrypt data. Consider it. Here's an example of symmetric encryption. Consider a desktop password manager application. Suppose you enter your password and they encrypt it with your personal key. When the data is to be retrieved, the same key is used. Suppose you have some sort of secure folder in your app system. So you use a key to encrypt it, to store it, and when you have to decrypt it, the system will again use the same key because it is stored in your system. So the same key is used in encryption time and decryption time. So it is an example of symmetric encryption. So the next one is asymmetric encryption. As you can is it quite obvious that we have used the same key in the symmetric encryption, and asymmetric encryption, it uses a private key and a public key pair. It uses two types of keys to encrypt and decrypt your data. Either key can encrypt, but a single key can't decrypt. You have to use two keys for your encryption and decryption. Basically, when we use some sort of security, transport layer security, so it includes asymmetric encryption. When we use some sort of transport layer security, so it includes asymmetric. So now moving on to the access controls, it falls under the category of confidentiality. We are discussing about confidentiality. So access controls authenticate and authorize individuals to access the information they are allowed to see and use. As we have discussed about privacy, that you apply some sort of privacy to your social profiles, your LinkedIn profile. So access controls are the controls that you have on your social profile or any sort of your digital data. You apply controls so that only authenticate or authorized individuals can see. So we'll discuss the controls that you have. So something you know. The first control you have is that something you know. So about your social profile, what you know is your passwords. Means your social profile, you have the passwords. Anyone cannot know about that. And something you are, suppose you have to go to ATM or some sort of, you have your biometric scan, so your biometric scan is yours. So something you are, something you have. Suppose you have to go to ATM and withdraw cash, so you have ATM card and you can withdraw cash. So this is an example of something you have. And something you do, your signature style is your, you can do the signature style and one other cannot do that. So basically these are some controls you have, and you can use these examples to apply it on your data. So the next thing is integrity. As we have discussing about CIA, we have discussed about confidentiality. So the next term is integrity. So Integrity means that assets can be modified only by authorized parties or only in authorized ways. In confidentiality, we have discussed that your data is available only to parties that are authorized. But in integrity, uh, the data can be modified by authorized parties. Here you can modify your data, ensures that information is in a format that it is true and correct to its original purposes. That your data, you are sending some sort of file to your friend, so your file remains in its incorrect form. So we have to make sure that its integrity remains the same. It involves maintaining the consistency, accuracy, and trustworthiness of data in its entire life cycle. So the technique that is used for this integrity is hash. We'll have a demo of hashing technique. So we'll use a hash calculator that takes a file as input and applies some sort of algorithm. The purpose of hashing is to show that the original file is not modified. So we'll have a demo of hash calculator. So I'm going to have a demo. Great. So basically, first of all, to make a demo of this hash calculator, you have to download a hash calculator. You have to download a hash calculator. It is called Microsoft File Checksum Integrity Verifier. You can download it easily from your browser. It is a hash calculator by Microsoft. You can search it in your browser and you can download it. And when you download this Microsoft, I repeat it again, the hash calculator is Microsoft File Checksum Integrity Verifier. So when you download it, you will have a folder called FCIV. I have downloaded it. So when you download it, you will have a file called FCIV and a README file. So we'll open the README files so that we can get to know more about this hash calculator and what are the different sorts of algorithms that we can apply on our text file or any sort of file that we are going to check integrity of. So meanwhile, you can have a look at FCIV. So here you can see a README file of this integrity verifier. It is called Microsoft File Checksum Integrity Verifier. Here's a complete introduction about this. What is FCIV? What are the features and text? When you download it from browser, you can have this README file, so you can read it thoroughly. So here you can see we have two types of hash algorithms. It is MD5 and SHA1. We'll apply SHA1 in this session, and you can use this syntax. You have to write FCIV and the name of the file and the algorithms you are going to apply. So you can read it thoroughly if you want to go through about this. So you have to open a command prompt, or you have opened a git bash here to make use of this hash calculator. I already have opened git bash. You have to open the git bash in that folder. You can see that here is the path of my folder that I'm going to apply. So basically you have to Ganesh, can you see this git bash?
Yes, it is visible. FCIV.
Okay, great. I'm going to zoom it a little bit, so
Okay.
it's quite audible, visible. So first we have to write one secret. It's you have to write FCIV and the file you are going to apply hash on. So I am using readme.txt file that is available in the folder, and make sure that you are using the correct extension of that file, and also the hash algorithm we are going to apply. So as we discussed, we are going to apply hash algorithm that is SHA1. So when you apply this hash, so you can see a hash code generated. So this is the hash code of the file. that we have used this. Basically, it shows the hash code. Suppose we have opened this file again and done some sort of modification. Suppose I enter it some words and save it. I have saved the file, and again when I apply this hash algorithm, so you can see that the hash code is different from the previous. Here the hash code is this, and again when we have applied this algorithm, so the hash code is different. So it shows that your file has been modified or your integrity has not been maintained. The file is in correct format as the previous one. So we'll again remove those words and again save it, and we'll apply again the hash calculator. So you can see it was I have some done more. Again I'm going to apply that. I have this and apply word A. Is I'm just checking the modification that I have done in this file. So this is different from the previous, and when I remove A again, you can see that again I'm going to apply. So you can see that hash code and that hash code is same. It shows that the modification has undo, means the modification that you have done is now gone. Means we have added a word A and we have removed it. So it shows that your file is in again is in
Wow,
correct.
this is an awesome technique. You know,
Yeah.
I have seen some sites which offer huge downloads.
Yes.
They, include these types of hash content, but I didn't knew what was the aim of it until now. Great
Yes.
to see that.
Great. Basically, there are multiple websites. If you can go to Kali Linux website, they have a hash code of the Kali Linux that you have to download.
ISO.
Yes,
Yes.
you have. There's a hash code available. So the main purpose of this hash code is to make sure that the file you have downloaded for Kali Linux, you can apply hash calculator on that file and can check that the hash code matches with the hash code available on an official website. So it is to make sure
Oh,
file hasn't been modified by the cyber criminals.
yeah.
So the main
Okay.
purpose,
So,
yes,
main task will be, you get only the thing that is being provided. It is
yes,
not modified in a way.
yes.
Yes. I now understand it. Awesome.
Okay, great. So let's move forward with the slides. So yeah, great. So here you can see we have plain text. In our case, we have taken a README file and we have applied an SHA1 algorithm. And after that, applying that algorithm, we have a hash code generated. Here you can see that we have used here a plain text is our file, and we have applied an algorithm that is SHA1. So after applying that algorithm, we have a hash code generated, and we can check that hash code to that our file hasn't been modified. So that's the main purpose of hashing is. So the last term is in CIA is availability. So confidentiality, integrity, and the last term is availability. So in availability, this means that assets are accessible to authorized parties at appropriate times. Means your some sort that you are providing some e-commerce website, so you have to make sure that your website remains available so that viewers or users can buy product at any time. If you aren't providing data at the same time or the data that user needs, so you have to make sure that your website remains available so that users can buy product at any time. If you are if you aren't providing data at the same time, or the data that user needs, so yeah, there comes the concept of availability. A classic example of loss availability to a malicious actor is a denial of service attack. Suppose your website isn't providing the data at the right time, so you can say that here comes the concept of denial of service attack. We'll discuss the different sorts of denial of service attacks in this session. So before moving on to DOS attacks, we have to make sure that we are quite aware of a command called ping. There is a concept called service level agreement. Basically, service level agreement is a binding document. It is a commitment between a service provider and a client. Suppose you are providing some sort of services to client, so the service provider makes some sort of commitment with you that they are going to provide data at the right time. And if the service provider doesn't provide you data at the right time, so they are being uh, fined, that they haven't been fulfilled their commitment. So a binding is made between the client and the service provider to make sure that availability of data is maintained. So before moving to DOS attacks, we have to get know about what is ping command. So I hope most of you know about what is ping command. It is the most basic command to check the connectivity of your reachable. So ping command is a computer network administration software utility used to check the reachability of a host on an internet network protocol. Suppose you have to check that you are going to connect with some sort of host or another system, so you can use ping command to check that you are connected with the other system. A simple way to verify that a computer can communicate over the network with another computer or network device. I hope that most of you know about this ping command. So basically, you have just to type ping and 127.0.0.1. You must going to say that what is 127.0.0.1. So basically, it is a loopback address. It is local, you can say local host, or you can say you when you have to use for testing purposes, so you use this IP address. I can show you a demo. You just have to type open your command prompt, and you have to type ping 127.0.0.1. So here you can see that it is showing that yes, ping statistics. So basically, packets sent for, received for, and there's no lost. So it shows that your reach the host is reachable. This 127.0.0.1 is a loopback address, and it is used for testing purposes. You can use any other IP address that you want to get connected, but cyber criminals use this ping command in some sort of destructive manner. So we'll discuss what are the different forms of DOS attacks that are in this ping command. So we'll discuss what are different DOS attacks that mostly cyber criminals use. So basically, we are discussing about different sorts of DOS attacks available. So the first one of them is ping of death, and the second one is ping of flood, and the third one is Smurf attack, and the fourth one is Fraggle attack. There are other attacks also. We'll discuss some of them here, and we'll know how these attacks get occur. So the first one is ping of death. So basically, the ping of death attack is a denial of service attack in which the attacker aims to disrupt a targeted machine by sending a packet larger than the maximum allowable size. Suppose you can send here you can see a diagram below that the maximum size that we can send is 65538 bytes, but the attacker sends a double of amount. So it is called a ping of death, that you are going to increase the size of the packet that you are going to send to the receiver. So by doing so, your server becomes unavailable, or your server becomes slow or unavailable. So you can say it is a ping of death, that you are going to increase the size of the maximum allowable size. So it causes the targeted machine to freeze or crash.
Okay.
Yes, it is a DOS attack. So the next one is ping of flood. It is quite similar to ping of death. Here also we are going to use ping command. So basically, ping of flood is ICMP flood, and it is a common denial of service attack in which an attacker takes down a victim's computer by overwhelming it with ICMP requests. Just in ping of death, we have discussed that we are going to increase the size of the packets, but in ping of flood, you are going to increase the number of the packets. Did you get it, Ganesh? What I'm trying to say?
Yes. I
Yes.
totally get it.
Yes, yeah, here you can increase the packet of size of the packet, but in ping of flood you are going to increase the number of the packets. A common example is your education websites, education board. Suppose your result is going to be announced, and at the time of your announcement, you can see that the board website gets slow or unavailable.
Yes, it happens regularly whenever the results are going to be announced.
Yes, so there's basically it is you cannot say that it is a DOS attack, but unintentionally the number of the packets that are receiving on the website increases. That more of the students are going to visit the website, so the number of the packets you can say increases. So the server or the
Yeah.
website gets slow. So it is a ping of death, a denial of service attack. Here you can see
Okay.
a figure that number of soldiers are going to attack on victims. So you can see that the number of packets, number of bullets you can see, their number of bullets increases. So you can take it in the terms of ping of flood attack, that number of ping commands or number of requests that you are going to send increase in huge amount. So the victim gets attacked by this sort of attack. And the third one we are going to discuss is Fraggle Attack. In Fraggle Attack, it is a type of DOS attack where the attacker send a large number of spoofed UDP traffic. We are not going to. I'm not going to confuse you about this term. We'll discuss it about it with an example. Here is a example. I'm going to elaborate you what is a Fraggle attack. Here you can see an attacker. You can say he is Ganesh. Okay, and
Okay.
Ganesh is going to attack on some sort of website. So we have to be aware of what is Ganesh going to be do. So
Okay.
Ganesh, instead of attacking directly to the website, he uses systems of some other users. You can say that he is going to use his friends' computers or anyone in their circle. So
Okay.
friends, beware of Ganesh. He's going to do some sort of DOS attack.
Yo, let me spin up my Linux machine before I do that.
Great. So instead of attacking directly to the website, Ganesh uses his friends' systems and their IP addresses. He makes some sort of group of their systems and uses their IP addresses to attack on the victim website. So Ganesh, can you answer what is the purpose of using your friend's IP address instead of yours?
So when I use others' IP address, when the person who is in charge of that website, he decides to track down who did that, he will not get my address. He will get the addresses of my friends. I think it is kind of a master-slave situation.
Yes, you are right. The main purpose of this attack is when the victim's going to, you can say, withdraw or come back to the IP addresses. So he gonna show the IP addresses of his friends. He is not going to the IP address of Ganesh. He's not gonna see that who is going to be the original attacker. So
Okay.
in this sort of DOS attacks, Ganesh remains safe and his friends are in danger. So try to be aware of Ganesh.
This also brings me to one other thing that I want to say that uh, if you use this kind of a thing or attack, I think uh, it becomes very difficult for a victim to get back up. So if the request is just coming from one IP address, I think they can block it and then get back up. But if it is coming from different IP addresses, how it will know that which IP address is malicious? I think
Yes,
that is also a problem.
yes, that is also the case. You are right. So I think it's quite okay with that. So let's move forward. So network security, as we are dealing about digital data or digital devices, so network security plays an important role in this manner. So basically, it focuses on communications and protocols and network services and the potential vulnerabilities associated with each. It involves the practices and the policies adopted to prevent and monitor unauthorized access and misuse of a computer and network accessible resources. So basically, we'll discuss network protocols here. Telecommunications and network security. We'll discuss about network protocols. You guys must know about what are the different network protocols are there. So network protocols are a set of rules governing the exchange of information in an easy, reliable, and secure way. Suppose you are going to transmit data from one system to the other, so those devices need to be connected, and they are connected with some sort of protocol. So there are basically three types of protocols. The most common of them are two, and we'll discuss. First is TCP/IP. The second is OSI model, and the third one, it is not common, but it is hierarchical model. So there are three network protocols there. You guys must know about what is TCP/IP and what is OSI model. So I'm not going to deep dive in these network protocols, just you can say a difference in between those protocols. So here you can see a difference between OSI model and TCP/IP model. So here you can see in OSI model we have seven layers. It's application layer, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical. I'm not going deep dive into these layers, but in TCP/IP we have reduced it into four, you can say four layers. And the main difference in between them is OSI is a conceptual model, and whereas TCP/IP is a practical model and is most used. So one answer from you guys, what is most preferable model? What is it TCP/IP model or OSI model? So what is the most preferable among them? So Ganesh, I'm going to question you again. So can you answer what is the most preferable among them?
So if you look at, like, from my side, if you want very fine grain information about what is going wrong and where it is going wrong, the OSI model will be better. But if you are looking from a developer's perspective, like someone who is developing website, he wouldn't need to know about the whole OSI model. For him, the TCP/IP layer, if he learns that, he can get, so there is something wrong in the application layer. He doesn't need to know application presentation or session layer. It kinds of merges the difficulty into 4 parts rather than making it into 7 parts. I don't know. It's like object-oriented programming.
Yes, that's correct. Basically, I could say that the most preferable is TCP/IP, because it is. I just said that it is a practical model, that it is practical, is being used practically in our communications. OSI is divided into several layers. You can see, yeah, it is in several layers, but it is a conceptual model, and it is not being used as much practically as TCP/IP is being used. So let's move forward. Yes. So I hope you get your answers, and we have the viewers also answered in the comment section. So let's move forward. By the way, this MSPInspire thing is very great. This is awesome.
We are just making it accessible to everyone, and with the workshop, the podcast and the Saturday nights, they went like we started it for normal MSPs. Like we used to have MSPs give session over there, but later on as it got larger and larger, and we got speakers from outside, the MSP sessions decreased. So we worked on this workshop thing. Now we can have multiple MSPs record the sessions with us, and we can release it multiple times on YouTube. There's no need to have a fixed time, fixed schedule. We can record it and then we can upload it. You also get the content, so you can also upload it on your website, and also all of the content that is being released to this platform, like Saad's slide over here, they will be made open source on the GitHub repo. So if you want to have a session on this topic that Saad is giving you, you can just get the thing from the repo, watch this video, whatever Saad is talking about, learn through it. If you have some problems, you can also connect with him.
It's amazing platform. I must say that you are guys are doing great job.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's move forward with contingency planning. It is the domain of cybersecurity we are discussing from the start of the session. So basically, contingency planning. We have three terms in contingency planning. I will take an example of current situation of COVID-19. I'm taking the example. So basically, the first term is incident response. Suppose it is a low-level issue. There are multiple tiers. Suppose there some sort of attack on your website. So the first thing is it is a low-level issue. Suppose about 3 to 4 months earlier, when COVID-19 situations started, it was a low-level issue. That in response to that, the government said to the you can say nationals to use some sort of you can say face mask or to avoid social distancing. So these are the things that we have made in the start of this situation. So that was a low-level issue. So it comes under the you can say term of incident response, that when that incident occur, we are going to apply some sort of measures that going to cover that low-level issue. So you can use it in the concept of an attack. When an attack occurs, we are going to apply some sort of measures that are in low-level issue. But as in current situation, you can say the COVID-19 has moved to a disaster that in every country, including Pakistan, where we are in you can say lockdown. I hope other countries are also in lockdown. So it is now moved into a disaster. So when it is going to high level issue or major you can say disruption, so it comes under the term of disaster recovery. So when that disaster occurs, so we have to do some sort of recovery. So in as cases COVID-19 situation cases are going to increase, so we have to apply lockdown to avoid some sort of situation. So in attacks, so when it came on some sort of high level issues, so we have to avoid that major destruction. We have to apply some measures that we can deal with. And after that situation, here comes the concept of business continuity planning. So as you can see that when this COVID-19 situation ends, we have to continue planning our businesses, how we can continue moving on as to make sure that our employment maintains or those other jobs maintains. So we have business continuity planning. When everything is destroyed in the disaster, then how to continue the business. So you can say when your website is attacked, all the attack occur, your data lost. So what you have to do after that attack? You have to continue planning how to move on, how to make your website start running again. So have to do all sorts of continuity planning. So these are the three terms that comes under the contingency planning term. Another domain of cybersecurity is laws, investigation, and ethics. this is the one of the most interesting cybersecurity domains. That, as the name implies, this security domain covers the legal issues associated with the computer security. Suppose everything you are doing, it is going to be legal. That we'll discuss later on. What are the legal issues associated with our, you can say, attacks, or what are the security features that companies are going to apply. So these are all comes under the laws, investigation, and ethics. The last domain we are going to discuss about cybersecurity is cryptography. So cryptography is a method of protecting information and communication through the use of codes. We have discussed in the start of this session about encryption techniques. There we have discussed about the hello world example, and the different encryption techniques we have, like symmetric encryption and asymmetric encryption. So basically cryptography is just same like that. It is a method of protecting information and communications through the use of codes, so that only the information is intended can read and process it. Here you can see the cryptography word is made of two different words. It is crypt, which means hidden, and the suffix that is graphy, it stands for writing. So when we combine both these words, you can say that it is called secret writing. That the message you are going to convey is in secret format, that any unauthorized parties cannot read it. So here you can see a diagram that we have a plain text that is non-encrypted, and where we have applied some sort of encryption, and it is in non-readable format. That first, you can say that your data is meaningful, that hello world. So the hello world is, you can read it easily, but when you apply an encryption technique, the hello world is replaced with some sort of other words, so it is now meaningless. And now you again apply decryption at the receiver end, and your plain text is again readable. So this whole process of encryption and decryption is called cryptography. It is a complete field where you can discuss about different sorts of cryptography techniques, like we have stream ciphers, block ciphers. It is a complete field, so you can go through the cryptography and different sorts of technique you can use. Oh, here comes the concept of hackers. So I think it is quite similar to Ganesh DOS attacks. So we are discussing about what are the different sorts of hackers, as we have discussed about different sorts of cybersecurity domains, and now we discuss the cyber threats to our cybersecurity. So there are three types of hackers. So basically the first one is white hat hacker, black hat hacker, and a gray hat hacker. So I have a question for you guys. You can answer. So can you know? Do you know about the difference between these three attackers? Ganesh, do you know about any difference between these?
I don't know anything about it, but I like the black hat.
Okay, so okay, great. So Daud, do you know about any the difference between these?
Of white hat hackers being the good hackers, right? And then
Yes.
the black hackers are the bad ones. Gray, I think I haven't really heard much about gray.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
yes.
I would suppose they agitate when the need arise. Okay, but then lecture us. I mean, over to you.
Okay, great. So we'll start with black hacker. So basically, examples without knowing the company, and after doing that website attack on the website, he going to demand some sort of ransom or some sort of destruction to the company. As we have discussed about ransomware attack, when an attacker encrypts your file and demands some sort of ransom from the user. So here it comes under the category of black attacker, that he attacks the company without knowing the owner of the company and demands some sort of ransom or any other, you can say, destruction to the company. So he is called a black hat hacker. But gray hat hacker, you can say, he attacks the company, or he is doing some sort of activity on the website to check that security vulnerability. And when he finds a security vulnerability, he doesn't demand some sort of ransom or some sort of destruction to the website, uh, except he contact the team owner or website that he finds some sort of vulnerability. So now it's up to the company that they are going to reward the gray hat hacker or they are going to punish. It's upon the website owner. You can say, if I have checked the security of some sort of website without knowing the owner, and after checking the vulnerability, I contact the website owner and say, hey, you have a vulnerability in that portion. You can upgrade it or you can improve it. So now it's up to the owner that he can reward the person that wow, you have found some sort of vulnerability in a website. But he can also punish the gray hat hacker that he have done attack without knowing their permission. So permission is the most important term here. So we have know about the difference between black hat and gray hat. So as white hat hacker, you can say that uh, he do all the task in a legal way, that he has permission from the website owner, he has commitment with the website owner. The website owner basically do some sort of commitment with the white hacker that you can check the vulnerability in our website and can tell us, and then we can improve it. So basically it is a legal way of doing checking your security vulnerability in some sort of website. So these are the three differences between white hat hacker, black hat hacker, and gray hat hacker. I hope you get it, Ganesh.
Yes, I think like the white hat hackers are like the good people. They always
Yes,
do
yes.
good things with all the permissions. The black hat hackers are like the Ganesh in the previous slide. They attack stuff to gain
Yes,
money and other things. And the gray hat hackers are like good people, but they don't follow the rules. I don't
yes, yes,
know.
that's right. Yes, that's right. They don't follow the right, you can say, rules or permissions to check some sort of security vulnerability. So
Awesome.
ethical hacking, we'll discuss a brief about ethical hacking. So it is quite similar to white hat hacker. You can say it is legal, that you have permission obtained from the target. You can in target in our case is a website owner or a company owner, that you have obtained a permission from the website owner to that you are going to check a security vulnerability in their website. And if some sort of vulnerability you found, you can remain the vulnerability confidential, that you are not going to reveal it to some other person. So that's the main purpose of permission obtaining is, and it is an overall part of a security program. Companies hire ethical hacker to check vulnerabilities in their website so that they can improve their website to avoid some sort of attacks that a black hat hacker make on their website, and identify vulnerabilities from internet at a particular point of time. And ethical hackers possesses some sort of skills, mindset, and tools of a hacker, but the attacks are done in a non-destructive manner. You can say there's no difference between black hacker skills and a white hacker skills. They both have the same skills, but the main difference in between them is the white hacker do attack in a non-destructive manner. The main goal of him is to check the security vulnerability and then tell the website owner that he have found this vulnerability and he can improve it. So if you want to know more about ethical hacking, you can just go to ecouncil.org. EC
Uh,
Council, it is www.eccouncil.org. So here you can find a list of courses here. If you want to get know about what hacking is, you can find programs, courses here, so you can take courses about this program more. So that is the last point of our today's session. It is going to be overview of Kali Linux. That Kali Linux is used in you can say ethical hacking purposes to check the security vulnerabilities in a website, we'll go some sort of basic demo about Kali Linux so that you can get familiar about what is Kali Linux is. So basically, Kali Linux is a Debian drive Linux distribution and a member of Unix OS family. It's a brief introduction about Kali Linux, and it is maintained and funded by Offensive Security Limited, and it is primarily used penetration testing and digital forensics. So we'll have some commands going to have demo in Kali Linux so that you can know what is Kali Linux is. You can download in from the browser. Just go to Kali Linux website and you can download the Kali Linux iOS. So for using Kali Linux, you have to install, you can say, you have to install a virtual machine on your system so that you can use a Kali Linux inside your, if you are using Linux or Windows operating system, so that you can use Kali Linux in your operating system. So can you see my virtual machine, Ganesh?
Yes, it is visible. You can also use a Linux terminal inside of WSL. Just pointing out.
Yes, but basically, I'm just going to give a brief introduction about Kali Linux is. So in Kali Linux, when you download it,
this is the easiest way of getting started with a Kali Linux machine. Great.
Yes, so great. So when you download it, you can see from applications there are multiple options available, from information gathering, vulnerability analysis, web application analysis. So there are multiple, you can say, application here you can use to testing purposes. It again. So basically, you can check the multiple applications available here. It is information gathering, vulnerability analysis. You can use these different applications for testing purposes. You can also have these applications in your Windows operating system or other operating system you use. But the main thing of using Kali Linux is that when you install Kali Linux, these are pre-installed applications. You don't have to install manually these applications. When you install, you get these applications all installed, pre-installed. But in Windows or other operating system, you have to manually install. Okay, so we'll do some commands and we're going to wrap up this session after that. So you can see a pwd command. Basically, it is used to show your current working directory. So here I am in my root directory. So we'll use another command called cd desktop. So these, now we have moved to another location. We have changed our directory. The main name is change directory. We have now moved to change directory to our desktop. Now we want to go back to our root directory. So we are going to apply cd and double doors. So when we apply pwd, we have discussed about pwd command, cd command, and how to go back to our directory again. If we want to list our files that are available in our current working directory, we'll use a command called ls. It is going to list all the files that are available on your current working directory. So in my desktop, the files that are is cyber, and these are the files. So I have listed these files. If you want to make a new directory or new file, you can say make directory and saad dot, you can say txt, and when I list it again, so you can see that I have created a new directory called saad.txt. So this command is used to make a new directory. And if you have to remove it again, so you can use a command called rmdir and saad.txt. So it will remove my file from my directory, and you can see that there is no saad.txt. There are multiple, there are number of command lines you can use on your Linux or your Windows, you can say, and you can go through these applications to get know more about the Kali Linux thing. So this is the brief introduction about this Kali Linux, and I have listed down these basic commands you can use during the you can say your session. So I think that's it for today's session. We have a demo of Kali Linux uh, before, and that's it for my today's session. So thank you everyone for joining, and Ganesh for inviting me for this session.
Yes, it was great having you here, Saad, with us, and I'm sure many of us, many MSPs will learn from it, and maybe if they want to have a session on it, they can have a session on it because of the help of the slides that you have given us, and I'm sure this will be, a great learning opportunity for everyone. Thank you, Saad, for doing this. And I think I should just stop the recording right now, or do you have anything to say?
No, that's all from my side. And thank you for inviting me to this MSPInspire session. I'm glad to be a part of this community. So that's it from my side.
Dauda, do you want to say anything? He's
Yes,
back.
I do. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys didn't get me, but because of the noise, when you ask me if I want to talk, I have to move away from the noise a bit so that I can talk to you clear. That's why I delay a bit. But this session was amazing and very educative. I think we've all, at a point growing up, I'm sure some of us were even inspired to be, better software developers we are today because we wanted to be hackers in the first place, right? Yeah, this it's like a natural feeling that you wake up and then growing up you realize, oh, there are these people that wear masks. You want to be like them. I mean, usually many people find out their career in IT by starting. When you ask them from the beginning, they'd be like, I want to be a hacker. But when they get more interest, they actually realize what exactly they want to become. So I think taking our time to inspire everyone about this important subject is very, very important, and everyone will be grateful to you. I'm sure people are going to run this workshop all over the world, and then credit to you for inspiring the globe. Thank you so much
Thank you so much.
for doing this.